So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, thank you very much to Dr. Izzati. So, this is the closing slide for today. I think we've actually go through a lot of ethicality, and for my slide, it's actually more on my presentation is actually basically based on real business issues or real case scenarios. And then what I want to give out here is actually the examples of businesses that have gone through legal issues, okay, when it comes to the ethical issues within them. There are many ethical issues basically, but in my presentation, I just will give out the most ethical issues that many businesses did. Okay, so for the foundation of ethical issues, I think you have covered from Dr. Zairina and also Dr. Nurita. So now I'm going to bring you to the real situation a little bit. Okay, so basically just some introduction about some business ethics. So definition of ethics in Islam basically based on akhlaq, especially for the employer, for the owners of the business. Okay, that is rooted in Quran and Sunnah. So important in daily transaction and business dealings. So Islamic ethics is not just spiritual, but it also applies to every transaction and business deal. Okay, so there are 4 main characteristics of ethical issues in business. These are some of the ethical issues, but I'm not covering everything, but I will just give you some overview what is going on in our world a little bit. Okay, so the characteristic of ethical issues must follow these 4 main characteristics. The first one is long-term consequences, okay, and then it have multiple alternative, mixed outcome, and uncertain consequences, which I will explain after this. Okay. Okay. All right. So wait. Okay. So most ethical decisions have long-term consequences. Some of the examples that most businesses do is on the corruption part. Okay, this one happened across the world. I'm not going to specific in Malaysia base. And then we have pollution, okay, that threatens environmental health, and unsafe product that can result in loss of life or over the claim products. Okay, so this is the scenario that I will give you bit by bit. Okay, so the corruption is basically giving money to the third party for the company own self benefits. Okay, so that is something that being done by many, I think not all, but some of the companies in the world. Okay, and then we have pollution. I think this one been done by some companies, especially before the environmental things happen, environmental safe movement happen. Okay, there are many companies that do a lot of pollution to the environment and also over the clean products, and some of the products can be total unsafe for the human consumption or even animal consumption if the company sell a pet product or human or animal byproduct. Okay. Okay, the first one will be the corruption part. Okay, so this is the example of the bribery scandal that happened in 2008. Okay, so this is from the company Siemens, okay, a global engineering and electronic giant based in Germany. So what they did, they basically want to secure public contracts. Okay, so I think in many countries have this as well, but they actually have a systematic bribery system for the government officials when it comes to this company. So this company bribe across many sectors within the country that involve telecommunication, transportation, and it occur generation by generation. Means that it's not happen very short term. It's a very long term we call period of time. And the scandal uncovered over 1.4 billion in suspicious payments. So the legal outcome that the Siemens needs to actually pay is around 1.6 billion in fines to US and Germany, because they make this bribery for both these countries. Okay, so the executive that involved were investigated and prosecuted. Okay, the case prompted widespread reforms in corporate governance and compliance around the globe lah. Okay, so from this issue, there are many acts come out from this type of situation. Okay. Okay, most ethical decisions also have mixed outcomes. For example, like offering bribes indirectly maintain import product sales as good can be received more quickly. Means that the company pay the third party more under table money so that they can actually get the product quicker than the other companies. Okay, so that kind of thing happen. So polluting air or water may reduce the cost of installing or operating, but operating pollution control equipment. So they just, for example, like they just put out all the for example oil into the oceans, so that it will reduce their cost in trying to make the byproduct become pure again lah. So that is actually reducing the cost of operating on the pollution part. Okay, and then designing a less safe product that may lower material and labor costs in production. This one happened, I think, in Malaysia. We have cosmetics that have mercuries. Okay, it will give very short outcome, very effective short outcome, but in the long term, it's going to harm the human health overall. Okay. Okay, the second case is Exxon Valdez oil spill that happened in 1989. One of the most devastating human-caused environmental disasters. Okay, releasing crude oil into Alaskan waters. Okay, so basically this is it's a big company that I quote here. Okay, so the oil tanker is actually at the Alaska and then spill over 11 million gallons. Okay, and then it will kill many of the marine birds, mammals, the otters. Okay, so it will actually take around 1,300 miles of coastlines of the Alaska waters. So the legal outcome is around 507.5 million, but I think damage has been done. Even the damage is to pay that half of the $1 billion, but I don't think that it's actually very hard to relieve the Alaska water from the pollution after it happened in 1989. Okay. Okay, so most ethical decisions also have uncertain outcomes. Okay, so basically, when a company offers a bribe, it may receive imported goods that may come quickly, and a company, if they invest in pollution control equipment, the cost might be reduced, but it's actually uncertain. Okay, that's why some companies, they make unethical decisions. Okay. If the company produces safest possible product, certain additional cost must be added for each unit of the product. So basically, this is the situation that the owners might come across a better option, and from here, from the decision of the better option decision, they need to ask about their own integrity and ethics when it comes to make a decision for this, like this one. Okay. This is a very popular case from Johnson and Johnson baby powder lawsuit. Okay, so this one, I think most of the household have this powder. Okay, Johnson and Johnson baby powder have asbestos basically before this. I think they already changed the ingredient inside it after this lawsuit. Okay, and then it's actually associated with cancer risks. Okay, and then there are exposure to cause cancer and other illness. Okay, and they got lawsuit from their consumers basically. So they pay their consumers around 2.1 billion for 22 women that linked with the product to they got ovarian cancer, unfortunately, because of the asbestos. Okay, so when a company did an unethical decision, this is something that can happen to the consumer, and it's actually quite big. Okay. Okay, so this is other internal risk factor that can be controlled by the company. The first one is the management within the company itself. Of course, management includes operation, finance, HR, and then they have marketing. Okay, so all of these sites must be aligned with ethicality. Okay, because I think in Malaysia we have, if I talk about the side of digital marketing or marketing itself, it's not really ethical. Some of the business sellers love to come up with very bad and negative news, or they come up with some issues that to create hype, which is also not good for the business in the long run, even though it's actually good for the short term, but it's not good for the long run in terms of the company image, and also from the from the trust that will be given by the consumers and also their shareholders, even suppliers or operation wise. Okay, so operation, so that is basically management that the business can actually control when it comes to ethicality. The second one will be the location wise. The company can choose their location, where to operate, where to do their manufacturing. Okay, even where to put their stores and shops. Okay, and then to choose suppliers, the location of the suppliers, and so on. Okay, so basically this is the business factor that can be controlled by the company in order for them to get the best choice for the location wise. The location is very important for a business to reduce their cost and effectiveness for the overall business operation. Okay. Next is loss of business interest. Some owners, they lost their business interest in the middle of after maybe 3 to 5 years. They can actually control it by having giving back and innovative, put some innovativeness in their business. Okay, they cannot just leave it like that, and they get out from the business without considering employees and all. Okay? So some owners, they love to change products, even the product line. If we talk about some business owners that love to change product when their product is not hype anymore, they change it to another product. So it will cause the domino effect to the agents. Okay, so if let's say they have agents for their business, basically it will impact the agents because they buy their product to the owner, and then they resell it to the consumers. Okay, so business interest is actually uh, look not really big, but it's actually very big. If let's say you are a very big company, okay, so a company must maintain their business interests by having good innovation, okay, good innovation and good strategy to complement each other product. Okay, for example, like um, if you are selling rice, you are selling together with its meal rather than you sell product that is actually going to be a competitor for the rice lah, basically. And then the fourth factor would be mismanagement, intentional and unintentional. Okay, unintentional is on the gray area. Some people, they do mistakes, but they don't recognize the mistakes. I mean, they don't think that that is wrong. Okay, but it will impact the whole company operation or the whole company profitability, and then they know that, oh, this is wrong. Okay, so basically what the company can do is to do audit. They need to audit at least like 3 times a year, just to know whether their operation is in line with their ethicality or integrity, okay, and then it can be trusted or not. So this is something that business can actually control. Intentional, they know that certain things are wrong, but they still do it for the sake of business or maybe their own self-interest. Okay, so this is happen also within the company, right? So which is very very common lah, common. But the unintentional part is actually much more harder to realize for the company, but they need to do several times audit, just to know whether is it wrong or right. Okay, some things in a company is in the gray area, whether we don't know whether that is wrong or right. Okay, so this is something that company need to ponder, they need to work on in order for them to set their ethics right or integrity right across all the business operation wise lah. Okay, so this one are the external forces that cannot be controlled by the company. Okay, we have technological changes. Now we have AI. Okay, AI now is actually replacing human. We can see that Microsoft has been laid off for, I think, around 2,000 to 3,000 employees coming from engineers and AI engineers, software engineers, which we think that this position should not be laid off in this era, but now it's actually been replacing human resource. Okay, so and then of course the AI or the very high technology innovation is actually going to be reducing costs for the company. But how human you are when we talk about humanity in general when it comes to human resource, yeah. Okay, so the Microsoft really need to think how to come out with a good, strategic plan rather than just lay off the employees. But this is not happen on Microsoft only, but there are many companies that actually being laid off people because of AI. Okay, so it's actually very concerning when it comes to the job employment among youth nowadays. And in university level, we are very conflicted about this issue because now people say that university can be replaced by AI. It's actually very your teachers can be replaced by AI. Something that you need to think about. How the system has been, developed into thinking that we can just fit robots rather than human. We need human touch in our life. That is something, it's actually a human need. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think let's go to evolution of market trends. Okay, trends is normal in business, basically in business industry. Okay, so in Malaysia we have our netizen, people call it netizen in Malaysia, net citizen. Okay, short form netizen. Okay, Malaysian people love to follow trends. Okay, now we have trend of tiramisu for the product. Okay, and then this is something out of control because it's been done by many other sellers. Okay, so this is something that the business can follow the trends or not. Okay, so in entrepreneurship, basically, following the trend is good, but your the we call it, the trend should not change your ethics. Okay, so some people, they make trends out of that marketing. So some sellers are going to be using that as their strategy, which is, for me, it's not good. So whatever trends that is in the industry now, the company should really think whether they want to follow the trend or not. Is it going to deviate from their integrity or ethics or not, something like that lah. Because not all trends are good, even though it can increase your profit, but it will not be good if your integrity is not there. Okay, another factor for external factors that cannot be controlled by the company is the policy changes. This happen, for example, like the tax, okay, business tax, subsidy. Okay, so all these are going to impact the overall business operation and everything, from the product, from the price, from the cost of the business. Okay, and when it comes to the policy changes, it's actually going to impact the consumer as well, because we are the one who actually pay for the product. Okay, so this has happened for the Donald Trump tariff war. We call it Donald Trump tariff war. They've been imposed a certain percentage to China. China is being known as a country that have producing a lot of raw materials. They are one of the biggest manufacturer in the world. Okay, so it always going to impact, at the end, is the consumer. Okay, so when it comes to ethicality and integrity, we always need to think about what is going to what is the effect of the consumer will face when it comes to the policy changes. Policy changes we cannot control, but the company can actually put a little bit of humanity, ethicality in the operation, okay, and try to justify why some of the products are high, but still in the range of prices that the consumer can buy, basically. Okay, and unpredictable economic climate. This one is economy-wise. This one also cannot be controlled by the company. But what the company can actually do is try to manage again their cost of labors and so on. That's why some of the factors here will impact the human resource and operations as overall. Okay. And then, of course, the competition as well within the same market or industry. There are so many competition. Okay, but some industry does not have not have a very rigid competition. But some industries already in the competition right now. For example, like AI industry is actually getting hype up when it comes to the competition. You can see that there are many softwares of AI come out right now. We have DeepSeek and ChatGPT and so on. Okay, so when it comes to competition, food competitors, how they want to break the competition so that they can actually promote their product. to the industry and to the consumer in an effective and most promising way lah. Okay. Okay. So business ethics begins with individual or the sellers of the owner of the business responsibility as the servant to prosper earth and care for the environment. Okay, so if I quote back what the Dr. said about the Makasih Syariah, it's about the perfection of wealth, okay, but it's also perfection of ummah, basically, as overall. Okay, so the universal noble values as exemplified by the character of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so the Prophet also show us how to become a good ethical entrepreneurs. Okay, how to deal with certain issues comes to business. Okay, so starting from 1960s, society-based agenda with consumerism starts. Okay, so the consumer right has been heard a lot since 1960s. Okay, so in Malaysia also we have many channels to redirect the consumer rights. For example, we have Tribunal of Consumers, okay, and then we have MCMC for the digital transactions. Let's say the sellers are doing fraud towards them, they can actually claim and go into a small cases. Okay, so small case be backed up by the government, which is very, very important when it comes to the consumer right of the society. Okay, and why is actually ethics is important in the real life issues is actually defines what right and wrong. But there are some things that is on the grey area, which is that you cannot identify whether it's wrong or right. Again, there are many situations in a company, and whatever it is goes back to what the company truly ethics what you call it guideline. Okay, because during my PhD, I did a case for Malaysian Umrah fraud. Okay, there are many fraud in Umrah, basically, Umrah services. Okay, so at the end of the day, the company are being given a suggestion to come up with their own a code of ethics. Okay, so because it involves with their employees, at the same time it involves with the part-time agents. So when it comes to Malaysian Umrah fraud, most of the fraud has been done by the part-time agents, not their employees. So they need to have a code of ethics that can bind these agents with rules and regulations. So code of ethics can be part of rules and regulations if the company wants to summon them for the frauds that they make. Okay? And in human relationship, ethics can build trust between individuals, but when it comes to the business, it's actually trust between companies and also customers, their shareholders, suppliers, even manufacturers. Okay, so if the company does not have ethics, basically the trust is not there. The customer doesn't want to buy their product. Supplier doesn't want to have any deals with the company. Okay, so they don't have good relationship with many people, right? So ethical principle originate from personal integrity. Start with the individual, basically. All right, that we carry into the business. Okay, so the individual must have this characteristic of integrity before they actually can run the business. Okay, so the first one is patience. Some business owner they cannot wait. They want a very fast result. This is a very red flag. Okay, so a business owner should be having a good patience to observe and wait for the result after working hard. Need to acknowledge the employee as well, their hard work. Okay, must have a very tactical strategy for the for the company and overall human resource that they have. Okay, so many business fail because they rush into starting up certain things. Okay, and neglect the pursuit of knowledge. Okay, so when it comes to entrepreneurship, knowledge is a very crucial part of the business. Okay, so a business owner should learn and should always increase their knowledge by time they have like done their business. Okay, it's actually a long-term commitment for entrepreneurs. So like me, I'm a entrepreneurship lecturer as well, and I teach entrepreneurship course at IUM. So what I did, I legally registered my students from the government sector called SSM. It's a government body that will make a business legal in Malaysia. And then when they register their business legally, they are tied with consumer rights and rules and regulation being given by the government. Okay, and then like me, I'm also a trainer for entrepreneurs within the campus and outside the campus for public entrepreneurs. So what I can actually see that for startups, around 1 to 3 years of open up a business, the knowledge is different. Okay, and then after 3 to 5 years, I call it as a we call it on the mediate of the knowledge, not advanced yet. After 10 more than 10 years, it's going to go to a very advanced level of entrepreneurship knowledge. So entrepreneurs must learn how to conduct their business, and they must learn simultaneously. They cannot stop learning. If not, they will outdate it themselves. The business also cannot sustain. Okay, because there are new knowledge always come out. Like me, I'm teaching my students how to do digital business on social media platform. It's good for startups, but when it comes to a long-term business owners, they must go more than that. They must go beyond the startup's knowledge. Okay, and as a business owner, also they need to take calculated risks. Okay,
Yeah.
Hah?
Iya.
Ini bukan gimana? Ini harus jebra itu.
Okay, so
Sebentar.
Can you mute
Ntar dia.
for the participants? Can you mute the audio, please? Thank you.
all right. So they take calculated risks, for example, like competition risks, and then they have product cost risks. There are many risks in business, from human resource to management, operation wise, marketing, PR. So when it comes to entrepreneur, they need to think all the risks before they go into a big decision for the company. Okay, so and integrity owners, business owners also must have a good productivity. Okay, not only be able to produce a product, but also having the initiative to take the business further by having innovation, consider to add more product line. Okay, that is one of the strategy, or maybe consider to reduce the cost and go into a good innovative strategy as well. Okay, but without needing to let go the integrity that they have. Okay, so being productive is good, but if you being too productive, then you cast aside humanity. That is not good. Okay, so for me, that is from my point of view lah. Of course, every business owner wants to think about how to reduce the cost. Okay, but how they are going to tackle some issues is actually a different thing for the business lah. And the owner also must be frugal. Okay, spending on necessities. Okay, so I train entrepreneurs when it comes to the financial side. There are two things that they need to expert in. The first one is personal finance, and the second one is the finance for the company, because company usually are different entities from the individual or the owner, him or herself. Okay, but they need to master the personal finance first, individual personal finance, because if they spend the company money for themselves, it's considered not ethics. Okay, because in business, if you have a big business, a bigger legal business, okay, you are going to make company is another entity, which is you're going to treat it as another person. So if you use another person money or another entity money, basically it's not ethics. Okay, so the owner must have a very good in managing their own finance, which I call as personal finance. Then they can actually manage another entity finance. Okay, and they follow standard procedures. Okay, so the company have procedures. They must come up with a good, strong procedures, and they cannot not use the procedure. They come up with a good code of ethics or ethical procedures, but they don't use it. Still, it's considered unethical as well. Okay. So to avoid misusing available allocation in terms of resources, right? So I think that's all. Okay. Some ethical issues. This is just a conclusion from all the slides before, the module before. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Fatin, for your insightful session. So, one point that truly resonated was your example regarding mercury-based skin whitening product. Yes, it's
whitening product.
Yes, it's give a quick, visible result, but they come with a severe side effects that compromise long-term health and well-being. And so, I guess from your explanation, so in Islam, business is not just about delivering outcomes or satisfying demand, but it is also being accountable to Allah SWT, isn't it? So it's like upholding truthfulness and then protecting dignity ataupun maybe safety of consumers. So we are accountable not only for the product and service we offer, but also for their impact on people as well as the society. So let this example, a good example from Dr. Fatin, so it reminds us in Islamic business, success is not merely measured by the revenue, but by responsibility. So the product that maybe violates safety or trust, even if it sells well, has failed the ethical test of Islam. So let's open the floor one last time for the questions. So feel free to drop your thoughts or queries on the chat box. So so there is one question. So in today's digital age, we often see business leveraging viral trends. Viral trends to gain attention, sometimes through silly or sensational content. This is quite fascinating. So from an Islamic marketing or ethical perspective, what is your view on this strategy? So do the ends attention and which justify the means it is work? So that's it, the questions.
Okay, I have many examples for this. Basically unethical on the marketing part. Of course, we have ethics to basically not doing overclaim, because before this, I give you one example. There is a skincare line called Skintific. This is a very popular China product. Okay, and also is popular in Malaysia. Okay, Skintific is a skincare line. Okay, so when they do their marketing, when it comes to their advertisement, they show that the product can be eaten. Okay, the cream, they use spoon and take out from the cream and then they put it in their mouth and they eat the cream. That is a very bad marketing. But it's actually a very good hype. People kind of like, oh, we can eat the skincare now, something like that. And people start to do the trend as well for the other skincare, which is not a good trend. this is something that is not ethical, but the violation, which is good, the TikTok violate this type of advertisement. The government, Malaysian government, also take control of this type of advertisements, so that not all trends are good. Okay, not all trends are ethics. Okay, so some people, they use other people's misfortune to do their advertisement, which is not good as well. Okay, so if I look at the digital marketing perspective, from the Islamic perspective, is actually condemning other people product also is not ethics. Okay, so that is one of the examples from my memory lah. Okay.
Okay, so with that, because of you say that it's condemning, yeah, for me as well, it's not very ethical, so isn't it? It's okay, and maybe you could give us some. Is there some red flags that business idea might be unethical, but even if it seems profitable?
I think when it comes to what you call it, marketing, there is not much a very rigid rules and regulation, but when it comes to Malaysian government, we have consumer rights and rules and regulation for advertisement as well. But more than that, for example, like you create a bad hype, it's not actually been ruled out as wrong things. Okay, so it will depends on your own ethics and integrity as well, whether it's good for me, is it good for my consumer, or is it good for my competitor? So many companies, they don't care about their competitors. Okay, that's why they condemn other competitors' product. But in Islam, we must look competitors as our helpers as well. Okay, because if you go and see to one urban area, for example, you go to KL, you go to Kuala Lumpur, or you go to a mall. Malaysia have so many shopping malls. I'm not sure why. Okay, you go to a mall, you can see that different levels of malls. For example, level 1 have so many. It's actually categorization of one category. For example, the first level is all food court. It's all food courts, and then second level is all what you call it, skincare or makeup shops. Okay, why does it happen like that? Because in theory, we have the what you call the application of competitor effects. Okay, so competitor will help you to generate your money, your profit, when you have all the competitors in one place. Okay, because people will gather there, and if they cannot find their product at the competitor, they will go to your shop. Okay, so that is one perfect example on the competitor. So we need to take care of our competitor as well, at the same time the customer and the community as a whole.
Okay, so there's only one last question. So there's from the chat. What is the Islamic view on hoarding a particular product?
Yeah, I do understand on this. I want to comment, but I